What's going on, everybody? Rob here. I'm going to be fixing this hole that my dog put in. I'm going to do a clip right here. I'm going to be fixing this hole in the drywall with. It's not all the way through, so this is regular joint compound right here. And I don't know if you know what these are, if you've seen them before, but these are plaster washers. Plaster washers, I got them from Ace Hardware, right? These are 1-inch drywall screws. They're going to fill in, and I got to use a razor blade, because before you start, you got to use the razor blade to kind of get off extra paper. I'll show you right now. So the thing with these plaster washers, you got the drywall screw, right? Gonna kind of screw these in along here, and what they do is they create something that plaster to bond to, right? You put about 4 or 5 of them in, but what you don't want is you don't want them higher than the drywall. You want them lower than the drywall, so when you finish sanding it, it's smooth and there's something to adhere to. Now with the razor blade, all this stuff, you got to go around and get all this stuff off right now. With the razor blade, you got a razor blade, you got to kind of just do a line around it, because you want a flat line. You don't want it stuff peeled up, because when you do your stuff on this, that'll always give you a hard time and kind of come back up. So all these loose paper, you want to get all this loose paper out of here, so it's going to have a smooth finish when you're done compounding. So right now with this, anything that's loose and sticking up, I'm getting out of here and I'm smoothing out. And since I'm opening up a pail of joint compound for that, I'm just going to finish up the little stuff that's just kind of around the house right there in the back room. Alright, so that's done. That's all peeled off. Then you're going to take these are your drywall washers. They're actually called plaster washers. And I got a 1-inch drywall screw. And then you're going to kind of sink them lower than the drywall. Alright. You want it to be flush smooth. So I'll show you how to know it's flush smooth. Alright. So if you can see right here, they're in there. But you go like this on the wall, and you can't hear these clickers. Metal one's better, but if you're going like this and you don't hear them, it's not hitting, then you're sunken good enough. But then if you can't get the plaster washers, if they're too high, just put these a little bit in there. These are just drywall screws. But you want to give just the plaster something to adhere to, the joint compound something to adhere to. Now working with the joint compound, you don't want to pack it the first coat all the way across. You kind of want to just start filling in the inside first. Fill in the inside first, because your last ones are going to be over everything. You got to go small, then wider, then the widest, right? So don't try to fill in end to end right now. Just kind of get it smooth right here, because you don't want to bog this in there really thick, then it'll start sagging. I got slow drying joint compound right now, because I normally take 3 days to do a little project like this in my house. Joint compound, any little thing I could grab that the dog did, I'm gonna go over right now. Just 1, 2, 3, take me 5 minutes, and then I let it dry overnight, and then the next day I come back and I smooth it out with sanding discs, pads, and then I put the second coat on it. So right there, that's ready to have the first coat on it right there. And then this is the joint compound that I use. It says for small holes, right? But the way I have it set up where it's gonna work all right. But this is the joint compound that I use. Now if I have to go to somebody else's house, this is easier for me. I'm not trying to do the whole thing right now in 6 hours or whatever. You know, mix it, let it dry, mix it, let it dry. I'm just doing a skim coat every day. For 3 days. But let me tell you this, when you're going to sand it, it is going to be messy. So let me get that ready. Alright, sometimes this comes with a plastic piece in it, because if whatever dries in here, whatever dries is going to get really crunchy crispy. Alright, so I'm going to get a scoop of this right here. That's really nice. Nice. Alright. And I'm going to start filling it in. You're not going to get it perfect on the first one, you're gonna have to hit this down tomorrow, sand it as smooth as you can. Let that dry. But I told you I had some other little places right here, so gotta sand down smooth tomorrow. Perfect. So any little places that you need right now, perfect. Okay. These right here will probably just take 2 coats, but they'll sand down perfect. Right there. This is all scratches that the dog did. All right, right there. All right, and this right here, I got to get ready. What I'm gonna do with this is sand this down a little bit, because if you just compound on it, it's not gonna come out right. So you gotta make sure it's smooth as it is, because whatever you first start with is how it's gonna end up. All right, so this is a corner, so you're gonna have to kind of work with it smooth. And how the house settled, this was kind of added on. I took this all the way out and the house settled. So what I'm going to do is fill in this line that came in here, since I'm getting the paint anyways. Alright, so you see the crack? There's a little crack. I'm going to fill that in. And that's just from the house settling. When you get a new house and they settle, this isn't a new house, but we knocked off this whole addition and added it back on, everything more modern. So it's settled since I had to replace the main beams. So that's what caused that crack in there. So you could just fill that crack in. And this is gonna take 2 coats. You see how good, I'm sorry, you can't even see. See how good that crack is filling in? All the way up. So we're just gonna fill that in while we're here anyways. We're gonna buy a 1/2 gallon of paint, and we're gonna do it with a 1/2 gallon of paint. That's gonna be 2 coats and sanded. See, perfect. So all this is gonna get sanded down, and it's gonna look brand new. So this is gonna get 2 coats probably. I'm gonna knock it down with sandpaper. So let me just finish all this up now, and then I'll show you what's next. All right, when you're done for the day, you have to smooth this. This has to be totally smooth, no air pockets, no air bubbles, because this is gonna dry. And when this dries, it's gonna be stuck in your compound. So you don't want it to dry and get stuck in your compound. I might even put a wet paper towel over this right now. But oh, here's some more holes right here. See, this is where this dumbass ran into the wall. Not dumbass. Let me stop talking about my dog like that. But okay, so this right here, it kind of looks crazy right now, but that's just the first coat. We're gonna sand it, don't forget. Now we're gonna go wider. All right, so the little cracks in there, see that already filled in pretty good. That's gonna take 2 or 3 coats. I normally do 3 coats, so every little thing that was out is filled in right here. It's day 1. So I'm gonna start on the wood right there. All right, but the wood isn't going to be with this compound. You probably could do it with the joint compound, to tell you the truth, but the wood is going to be with the wood filler. So I'm going to seal this up, and then I'm going to go to the wood. All right, I even wiped this perimeter down with a wet paper towel, and that's a wet paper towel that I have sitting on the top of it. I'm going to clean this off really good with water. All it takes is water, and then I'm going to seal it till tomorrow. Now you'll see the color changing on this, right? See, that's still wet and that's dry. That's still wet and that's dry. Don't jump the gun, because you're gonna mess all that up. You gotta just let that all dry. This is slow setting compound I'm using, so this is gonna dry overnight. I'm not gonna touch it overnight. And if you're doing this in high humidity, like the summer when it's high humidity, you might even have to put a fan on it. And the second day, I wouldn't put a pan on it the first day, because you're gonna dry it too fast. It has to dry at its normal, whatever it's made to do. There's 20 minutes, 40 minutes, 60 minutes. This is a slow drying one that is gonna take all night to dry. seems like it's drying pretty good, then tomorrow I can sand it down. Don't rush it.